1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mandolin land, Mike Heading here, coming to you today with the classic old bluegrass song Shady Grove in the key of E minor. I first heard this song on a Jerry Garcia and David Grisman album. They had a bunch of duo albums that I would highly recommend checking out. That's actually what got me into mandolin. I heard David Grisman's solo on Friend of the Devil. Never knew what a mandolin was, and I was instantly hooked when I heard that solo. So definitely check out Jerry Garcia and David Grisman. But this is a classic old song, Shady Grove. It's been done by a ton of people. Doc Watson, Hot Rise used to do a version of it. There's a lot of different versions of this song, but it's a classic old must-know bluegrass tune. We're going to do it in the key of E minor, and we're going to do two kind of short, the solo is pretty short, so we're going to do two short solos, kind of at an intermediate level, but I think a beginner could get this with practice. We're basically going to work on transitioning from this lower E minor shape up into this higher E minor position where you can get some really cool bluegrass sounds. Alright, I'm going to break down both solos note for note and then show you a bunch of backup I would do. So we're going to learn how to play the chords down low. We're going to learn how to play them up in higher inversion. I'll give you a bunch of ways to play the backup as well. And if you're watching the preview of this lesson, you can head over to my website, MikeHeadingMusic.com, and grab the full lesson. You'll get access to watch all the videos, and you can download the tabs and the practice tracks. Alright, here's Shady Grove in the key of E minor. Alright, let's start breaking down this intermediate lesson for Shady Grove in the key of E minor. Let's start breaking down the solo. I'll start by playing the first 9 measures, which is kind of the first half of the solo, and then we'll start breaking it down. Here we go. Do that a couple times. One time really slow. Alright, so measure 1 is just going to be a pickup, and I'm kind of sitting in this E minor position. So I've got my first finger kind of on the 2nd fret of the D string, and then my second finger is kind of hovering over the 4th fret. That's kind of like a 2-finger E minor chord that we'll use as a backup. And that's kind of what I'm starting with. Measure 1 is just going to be a pickup to the solo. So the melody actually starts in measure 2. But we're going to start by playing the 2nd fret on the D string, and then open 2 on the G string. So open and then 2nd fret, and then 4th fret, and then open D string. We're kind of just we're starting on our target note, the 2nd fret of the D string, and we're kind of just going to some lower notes for a second and then walking back up. That's really all we're doing there. So we have 1, 2, and 3, 4. Measure 2, I'm going to use a lot of hammer-ons for this lesson. I thought it'd be good practice. I'll show you how to do it without the hammer-ons as well. But we're going to do an open 2 hammer-on on the D string, and then down, up, down. So remember, the hammer-on takes the place of a picked note. So I'm just doing a single downstroke, changing the pitch, and then we have 2, 4. So 2nd fret, 4th fret, and then 2 open, and then 2 downstrokes, and then 4 open, 4th fret on the G string, open D. So I think it kind of helps to play the melody at 2 phrases at a time. So we have, and if you wanted to take the hammer-on out, you could play it with picked notes, open 2, or you could just play the 2nd fret twice. Not too hard there. So remember, if you're going to play the hammer-on, just don't do a down-up pick. then 4 open, and then this is the next phrase, open 2. You could also do a hammer on here. I didn't, but you could. So I just did open 2 there, and then 2nd fret again, and then 2, 5, and then open A. So you have couple little tips. Kind of keep your hands spread out. Like I said at the beginning, I'm kind of hovering my 1st finger over the 2nd fret, my 3rd finger over these 5th frets, and my 2nd finger kind of over the 4th frets. That's just good practice. So we walk that up, and then measure 5, open 2, hammer on the A string, and then down, up, down, down. Okay, so we have probably the melody in like its absolute most basic form is. So that's the Shady Grove, my little love, Shady Grove I know. You know, depending on, that's usually the lyrics I think of there. That's kind of the melody in its most basic form. We're just filling it up with a little bit more picking. Then measure 6, keep your 1st finger down, put your 3rd finger on the 5th fret of the A string. We're going to play that note twice. And then back to the 2nd fret, down, up on the 2nd fret, and then a little run. This is good practice. We're going to do all down, up picking here. Open 2, open on the A string. Those are my frets. Open and then 2nd fret. And then right here we have to do an upstroke on the 4th fret of the D string. So we have. And then 2nd fret on the D, open D string, 2, 4. So you go down to that 4th fret and then you walk back up. It's good picking practice there. You could also do it with like a hammer on. And then our ending lick. Keep your 2nd finger down. We're going to do an open 2 hammer on the A string. This is over like a B minor. So we're going to go, and then down, up, and then 2 open, 4 open on the D. So we have. And then open, another open 2 hammer on the 2nd fret of the D string. And then down, up, down. And then that 4 open, which is just our pickup into the melody again. So not too hard there. Let's play it from 6 to the end of 9. So we have. Okay, so let's break down that. I kind of kept the first half of the solo pretty basic. So a couple things you could do. You could change the rhythm slightly. You could add more picking, maybe on measure 3. Instead of going, you could make those 8th notes. You could hammer on. The other thing you could do right here is instead of doing an open 2 hammer on, you could do a 1, 2 slide. Might sound nice. You'd have. Right here on this high 5th fret, you could also do a double stop if you want to make it a little bluegrassier. That's probably not a word, but I'm going to use it anyway. Bluegrassier. If you add your 3rd finger or 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the high E string, that's like a G double stop. You could use that, which would allow you to like fill it up a little bit more. So you could have. The other thing you could do is maybe fill that part up with more picking. So you would go. That's why it's so important to follow the pick direction, because if you do the correct down and up strokes, it gives you the ability to add more picking where you want, because you feel how much time you have to fill there. So instead of going, so that's 3 quarter notes followed by 2 eighth notes, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 3, 4, and. So we could put in eighth notes there. So 2 eighth notes equals 1 quarter note, right? So you could double all those up with alternate picking. Or play it as written. Or change the first part. It kind of frees you up to really play that part wherever you want. And then I'm just putting those pauses wherever I feel like comfortable. So, you know, not too hard there. And we're playing a lot of melody there. So the melody, remember, is something kind of like that. So that's what we're just filling that up with, just some down up picking. Now measure 10's like the second half.